My family's like super like hippy dippy and into like, I grew up knowing about astrological signs. Like I feel like people started discovering that recently in a mainstream way, but like I grew up being like, my mom's a Virgo, my dad's a Libra. Like, you know what I mean? Like these were just things that we knew.
Hey, wait, hang on, your mum's a Virgo, your dad's a Libra?
Yeah.
Oh.
See? No, that's what I'm saying.
Not for me to say. Not for me to say anything, you know? Each to their own.
Said.
It can work. For Lizzo's parents who are watching this right now, I have no opinion because I know nothing about astrological signs, but Lizzo was definitely putting my life on blast before because of my astrological situation.
It was just shocking to me. But it's
Way to soften the blow. I did. Let me make it easy for you. It was shocking.
Mind you, when you said Leo or Leo, I was like, oh Lord, whatever sign comes next.
It's trouble. Yeah, they're in trouble.
They got to deal with a Leo.
What are you?
I'm a Taurus, but I'm a Leo rising.
Right.
So I'm like, superstar, you know?
Right, so you are, mate, you described it beautifully in Vogue recently. You said that you're an antisocial extrovert. That's awesome.
Because I am a connector. I can connect with people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, and people energize me. You know, they say that's the difference between an extrovert and introvert. If you're introverted, people exhaust you, right?
Right.
So what is it for you?
Oh gosh, that's super interesting. I feel like people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm actually probably pretty introverted. I do get a little bit exhausted by energy.
I'm fucking shy. Isn't that crazy?
Weird.
My mom sent me a video when I was like, I had to have been like 12 or something in this video in Detroit, and I was like getting some ice cream out of the fridge, and they were like, Melissa, what are you doing? What are you eating? I was like, ice cream. You know, your voice is all like ashy when you're a kid.
Yeah.
I was like, ice cream. And I saw that the camera was on me, and I was like, ah, and I like ducked. And my mom was like, you've always just been so shy. So it's like that shyness, I think, is what I protect with. I'm an extrovert, but the antisocial me is protecting that shy version of me.
So when did your extroverted identity first become dominant enough to surpass your introverted nature?
That's deep. I think Lizzo was the person, like when my name was Melissa for a long time, and in the 8th grade, they were like, Lizzo, I'm Lizzo now. And I think that was my, coming out. And I was like, I felt cool for the first time ever. I was like, I got a nickname. I'm wearing Jordans. I got cornrows in my head. I'm cool.
But you told me, it's funny because we're talking about Rumors, obviously, which is a banger, and another Lizzo banger. And I just, there was a line in there where you were like, you talk about school, you talk about how hard it was at school and how you were never cool. And now, like, check it out, and with Cardi, and we're cool. And there's something to that line which I think is so sort of like, such a common thread throughout the artistic journey, which is there's a healthy amount of you juice that has to be drunk in order to achieve from at a certain point in your life. Like, do you know what I mean? There's a little bit of like, you doubted me. Let me use that.
Yeah.
Did you have that?
F You Juice was actually the original title to Juice.
Right.
But we
I wish it was.
F you.
I wish it was.
I'll tell you what, that line, I don't know if I was in rehearsal for the music video, or I was either on set. I can't remember, but I heard the line was playing over and over. And never thought I was cool. Yeah, now me and Cardi, we cool. Yeah. I like got emotional. I cried.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. I had this full circle because one of my best friends who I played flute with for like 20 years, who I grew up in school with, she's in the music video. She's next to me dancing, Alexia.
So it all came together.
I brought her with me to rehearsals, and I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, like I was a nerd. Like all the people back home in the SWAT in A-Leaf who are gonna see this music video. I'm in a music video with Cardi B, and I was walking through the hallways with like sweaty hair, reading fantasy novels, a fucking nerd, a geek, a band nerd, you know? And I cried because I was like, what a full circle moment. I made it, I always wanted to be cool, you know what I'm saying?
We all did. Everybody did. But it's funny because I look back on it, and some of the people I thought were the coolest, I'm not casting any judgment. I just think that like there's something about having a healthy amount of isolation at a very important moment in your life, those transition moments when you're becoming a young adult and searching for independence. That level of rejection sometimes allows you to find out who you truly are.
Yeah.
So when people actually identify with the real you've done some work.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not actually pretending anymore, which is what we're all trying to do at high school, right?
Absolutely. It builds character, being rejected over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I think it's like I have friends, you know what I'm saying? So let me not say that. Shout out to the SWAT crew. Like, I have friends, but it's like when don't nobody want you, it's like I gotta want myself. You know, it forces you to want yourself. But mind you, I wasn't like that, you know, cognizant and sharp, and I was like, yeah, in 10th grade, I'm gonna love myself. Like, I wasn't that cool. I wish I had that bravery. But I discovered it later on sooner than most people, because everyone's always like, how did you do it? How did you love
Because you
yourself?
were forced to.
Yeah, I was like, did nobody like me?
No one else is. But what is it like when you hear an audience then, as someone who had to identify with yourself before others would even remotely acknowledge that, and then you have 30,000 people, 60,000 people telling you you're great?
So my dream, one of my goals, you know, I always talk about like the Grammys, #1 songs were never my goal because I didn't think that was attainable. My goal was to have a song that was so good that people could sing without me even having to tell them to. And when that happened, finally, I was like, my dream, I was like, I'm done. Like, my dream, like, I don't need to do nothing else with my career.
Which one was it first for you that you recognized struck a chord? Because you've had a lot. So for you, which one was it?
To be honest with you, I would say a big one where I felt like it moved people was My Skin. But if we could fast forward, Good as Hell for sure.
Yeah.
Good as hell.
Which blows my mind that was a 2016, 17 type scenario, because that's just kept going. I was on a plane watching a new movie the other day, and that song is in the soundtrack of some new movie. I don't know what it was. And so it's like, it's just crazy how that song just continues to grow and grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
And also felt like that was quite a transition moment for you, because if you think back to Lizzo Bangers and Big Girl Small World, you know, you were definitely, you know, you were searching for bars and working on some tough beats. And there was humor and all those things in there. But I felt like Good as Hell was where you were like, hang on, there's a different Lizzo here.
Yeah. Well, that was pivotal. I think, like, I was being really internal and selfish on Lizzo Bangers because I had this, like, horrible writer's block. And I was always sharing my story with other people because I was in, like, rock bands and girl groups, and so I was always giving a third of the story, or, you know, and I think Lizzo Bangers was me just being like, this is everything I've ever wanted to say, you know, and I just said it all, and I was like, I don't care if it sounds good, I don't care if it's cool or not, I'm just gonna say everything that's on my chest, because I can finally do it. And so there's a lot of, like, anger in Lizzo Bangers.
Yeah, it's frantic. Listen, it's like you're trying to get as much out as you can, and the music reflects that too. Like, it's really kind of ADD in a good way. Yeah,
it's chaotic, and I needed it. That I use all my music as therapy, and then when Big Girl Small World came along, I was like, now I want to sound cool. Like, I want to make artsy music, and then I went to, like, April Bass with, like, Justin Vernon and BJ Burton, and I just made, like, the artsiest, fartsiest rap, you know, project of all time. And then I wrote My Skin, and My Skin was simple, you know, and it touched people, and it meant something, and it mattered, and my intention with music changed upon writing that song. I was like, okay, I'm writing this music to, you know, be cool or be artsy, but now it's like, I want to write music that helps people, that heals people.
Yeah.
And I learned, like, less is more. Like, if you want to help somebody, you don't sit and read them the Pythagorean theorem. You don't go open an encyclopedia and say, okay, well, this is how you're going to feel better. You just hold them, you know what I mean?
Well, sometimes the most simple truths at the time feel like the most complex, because to cut to the core of how you feel about yourself and share that with others who may be going through a similar thing, now I feel like the conversation is changing, and there's more bravery and courage in that conversation. But even 3-4 years ago, you must have felt like you're an astronaut.
In what way?
In the sense that you were coming out and saying, this is who I am, and I'm going to be unashamed about how it makes me feel, for better or for worse. And I'm not going to try to pretend by doing this project or being this, or less identity, more you.
Yeah. Yeah, an astronaut. As in, like, just being out there alone in the world?
No, as in searching for new territory that no one else has climbed to that altitude before. Right?
Damn.
On a rocket ship, searching for new things.
This is the part of my career that's really hard for me to grasp, is accepting that I've done something that's never really happened, or that I was a part of, like, a new movement or a wave. Because I'm like, I was just being myself. I was just being me. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm still dealing with that. I'm like, everybody's been like this, right? Like, this has always been the status quo. But I remember when I made a song and it was like, I'm in love with myself. I'm in love with myself. I was like, you know what? I've never heard anyone say that in a song. So I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
And I did it like just kind of off the cuff, like silly, like funny, but I didn't realize it would start this whole thing. Like I was watching a commercial and there was these big girls in it and it had nothing to do with being big. And I was like,
yeah. But what's cool about it is that, and this takes a bit of the pressure off, which I think is what you're referring to, and it's like I have a hard time understanding or identifying myself in that framework, is that I think that timing played a big role as well. Because I think the combination of social media and the fact that there was so much identity obsession going on all the time, that to cut through and just say, look, let me just, like I said, make a simple statement about how I feel about myself without pretending, landed at a time when others felt the same way.
Oh, wow.
And I think the conversation changed. I think it was a combination of your courage and also synergy, just timing.
Yeah, I think everything is in timing. I feel like I just didn't have the luxury of hiding behind anything because, like, you know, I'm fat. You know what I mean? So it's like I immediately am out here. Like, I don't know how to describe it. How do I put this in a way that makes sense? Like, I feel like when fat is the worst thing people can say about me at this point. This is like the biggest insecurity. It's like, how dare a pop star be fat? How dare, you know, so I had to own that.
Yeah.
I feel like other people who were put on that pedestal or who become pop stars probably have other insecurities or have other flaws and things. But they can hide it behind a veneer of like, you know, being sexy and being marketable.
And here's the thing, that is old fashioned. That is old thinking.
Yeah.
And I know, you know, our kids now are of an age where the purity of what they learned as children is now being absorbed by what society presents, right? The infrastructure they're walking into, the pre-existing, right? So they're trying to figure out, like, who am I based on how I've been raised and what's in my heart versus what world is this again? Like, I'm a teenager now. What am I actually inheriting here? This is, whoa, this is
sheesh.
This is shit, right? And we've all been there. What's interesting to me is that they're so much more focused on energy than they are on surface and on looks and all that other shit.
And that's new.
It's new. That's the point. It's new.
Holy shit. It's a beautiful thing, though. It's a beautiful thing. You even, like, look back. When I, like, watch old movies or I watch, like, commercials from, like, the early 2000s or the 90s, I'm like, this is what I was...
How did they get away with this?
I don't know. And I'm like, so many other kinds of people exist.
Yeah.
How did we just allow this to happen? This slim, you know, representation, this slim amount of representation.
So, because we were stupid and naive and just, you know, we've got so far to go.
Yeah, it's true. Because even now, it's like, I'd be like, this, you know, they always ask me about, like, change. Like, how has it changed? Like, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, there's two worlds going on here. Do you know what I'm saying? There's, like, the media, there's mainstream culture, the surface of things, the veneer. And then there's the infrastructure. And I feel like music can influence the culture in the way things look, commercials, billboards, but that changes so much. The infrastructure has not changed as much. There's still so many people who suffer from being marginalized, you know, systemically. While you know, meanwhile, you know, there's a plus size black girl at the Grammys, but like plus size black women are still not getting the treatment they deserve in hospitals and from doctors and at work. You know what I mean? Like, we got a long way to go.
But check this out. You talk about it. It's just everything that is epic about Lizzo. You know, that you lull people in with this sense of, like, you're a charismatron, right? You can call yourself whatever you want. To all of us, you're like this just shining superstar. Yeah, you got this ridiculous, undeniable charisma. And so you put that on display as soon as the music starts and you pepper it with humor. And then you're just like, oh, wait, did you hear the 4th line and the 7th line and the 12th line and the end of the record? Did you hear the really important shit she's saying in there? Which is, why are you still treating women this way? Acknowledge that we made rock and roll. And it's like, you have been doing that, I feel like, for a long time. That you're a subversive artist. You like to go in there and bring us in, make us dance, and then teach us shit, right?
I feel like you can give medicine better with a laugh, you know, or a smile.
Yeah.
That's how it's always worked for me. Like, I'm the bright side, you know what I mean? But I like to give you the facts. Like they always say with comedians, like Dave Chappelle is so great because he's telling you real shit, but you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
totally.
Shit. You know what I mean? And if I can get the whole world singing these powerful mantras and like positive words and language, and they don't even realize they're doing it. They're like, I'm in love with myself. I'm my own soulmate. You know, at a certain point, you start to believe it and it sinks in. Or even now, it's like black people made rock and roll. Yeah, they're going to be rocking out. So they're going to be like,
all this little subversive, all the things
like
that just,
that?
I love it.
Thomas Pridgeon, boy, got the Pridgeon on the drums.
The devil's in the detail, and I think that you really do layer your music in a really deep way.
I'm learned in music. Like, I studied music theory my whole life since I was like 12. But I do have to give a lot of thanks to Ricky Reed, who produced Rumors, but Juice, Truth Hurts, Good as Hell, la 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 la.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely took this tool that I have and like sharpened it.
Yeah.
You know, so now I know what I'm listening for. It's like I'm just smarter, you know, because of that relationship.
Well, he also makes things pop. Like the drums and the way things sound. I'm a supersonic nerd. And obviously now Apple, we're in this whole spatial world, so I'm really into that because the idea of focusing on sound and not just on ideas and performance. Like people always forget that sound is really what ties the whole thing together.
Ricky makes like the perfect sandwich.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? He takes all the ingredients and he knows my voice so well, which my voice is the meat. And he scoops things out. So my voice sits in it so perfectly. So you're like, this meat is delicious.
Yeah.
You don't care about the bread. You don't care about the lettuce or the cheese. I'm getting hungry. Or the sauce. It's the meat. And he knows that that's the most important thing. He puts my voice first. It should be about the voice when you're a vocalist. Let me take that back. It should be about the voice when you have something to say and you're a vocalist. I think a lot of times music can also... Like, some artists are super production and music-based, too. Shout out to them. Like, I feel like even someone like Solange, who has the most incredible voice, is so about the production, though. Like, I want to sit and just get lost in, you know, her mind.
I feel like Solange is just like, she paints like Frank paints.
Yes, Frank.
She's searching. They're searching for ways for the voice to be a major color within an overarching frame.
Woo! Baby, let me tell you something about Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean took music and like rearranged the letters, and now it's like oomies.
Like, how does that a hook? Like,
Frank Ocean went slightly like flat on, what was that song? New Religion.
Yeah. Bad Religion.
Bad Religion. That's True Religion, jeans.
Yeah.
But like, love me. He went sharp halfway through, and the music was like changing like chords, and I thought it changed keys. I was like, this is wrong, but it's so right.
And he
it's
so knows.
tension.
He so knows as well. It's like, talk about the gift and the curse. I can imagine for someone like Frank being hyper aware of all of those details, and then we sort of dumpty-doo into the room and kind of listen to it. It takes us 6 years to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, you know, every time I listen to Siegfried, I learn something new about music, and that's just that one song. Like, he's just unbelievable. He's incredible. I mean, first of all, before we even get into the coming back bit, how did you feel at the end of the last bit? Because I feel in 2020, it's like, hey, top of the world, won all these significant accolades, all the things that that you probably felt were beyond your reach because other people put those ideas in your head, you surpassed them and achieved them, and then what?
It was a difficult time.
Right.
That was difficult because I felt like, I mean, SNL was great, but, you know, I was so sick that day. Like, I mean, I should not have performed. Then, you know, we go to Australia, and it's my first time in Australia, but the brush fires had done so much damage, and there was so much tragedy there. And I was like, wow, this is like really difficult. I can't come here and just gloss over what's happening. And so we, of course, you know, we went to like food banks, and we tried to like donate as much money and raise awareness. And then you have like the Grammys, which was one of the most bittersweet days. Like, I just felt like everyone was so sad and mourning, and, you know, losing, you know, an icon the same day as that day in the same venue. I was I was like, this whole night is dedicated to Kobe.
I was in the room that day. I saw you that day, and I was in the arena when the news went around, and it was you'll never forget it. Like
No.
you'll never forget where you were on that days.
And I wasn't watching TV. I didn't have my phone on me, and my very close friend, I got to hear it from her, and I had to hear it from her, and I was just like, and I'm on the carpet, and I was just like numb. I was like, and I was
You
like,
sort of want someone to pull it. Hey, you want someone to go, it's not happening, just so everyone can just take a breath and process and grieve and do what they've got to do.
Yeah.
When the show goes on, all of a sudden you become part of the show.
Yeah.
And it's like, how, as I'm just a human being, how do you react to what's going on right now with cameras and questions?
Right.
And
with no personal connection to this person except for my heart and my childhood and my life.
Yeah.
And then, I'm opening the show. So I get back and I'm like, okay. I said, please give me like 60 extra seconds to just dedicate this performance. And they were like, we can't really give you too much time. But then turns out we had built in the track, like an extended, after the orchestra played, there was like an extended break. And it was too long in rehearsal. And I was like, it's a little too long, but let's keep it that way. I might get nervous. And then I was like, know what? Don't even worry about it. I'm going to say it right here. And I said, tonight is for Kobe. And we just, and that was just the beginning of the Grammys. And, winning that award, I had a whole speech planned, but I'm like, I'm the first award of the night. I can't walk up here in his house and just say, so I just want to thank and I'm like, no, this is my opportunity right now to, be an artist that is connected. And what I do is make people feel good. What I do is remind people of who they are and stepping up when I need to step up. Like I went to Australia and went to food banks and I'm like, I'm not just here for myself.
No, this is the thing. I think that it's reflected in your person, that you are a very thoughtful person and that you do care about others. Otherwise, you wouldn't speak up openly about what you go through and share those. It means something to people. It resonates with people.
I appreciate that, but I'm still people, So it's like I am dealing with this same global trauma. Like I just feel like the trauma has not stopped.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, we've been traumatized since 2001. Let's keep it real, because since then everything has just been like on a global level, almost catastrophic and terrifying. There's just been so many events that has affected us as like a society. And then I just felt like rolling into 2020 was just like heartbreak after heartbreak after trauma. And, I'm trying my best to be like, I do my hair toss. And it's like, man, it's like, nah, I don't do my hair toss right now. But the beauty of what I'm able to do in the space that I've created as an artist is that I am able to express the full spectrum of emotion. Even when my songs are happy, it comes from pain. Like Good as Hell is a sad song. It's like, he doesn't love you anymore. I say that in the second verse. He don't love you anymore. Like, what? You know what I mean? Truth Hurts is, oh my God, was written about one of the saddest days of my life.
Because I love you.
Woo,
Opening line of the album.
I'm crying.
Is I'm crying. Because I love you.
Yeah.
If you hadn't heard that album and you saw that on a poster like Lizzo, Cause I Love You, you'd be like, Cause I love you, cause I love you, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna live together forever and ever more.
Sing that.
You know what I'm saying? And then you press play on it and it's like, I'm crying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've given myself the space to have that, to have emotion, to be real, to be human. So even like...
Thank God.
Because I'll keep it real with you. A lot of artists don't get that same space, and my heart goes to them because it's not easy.
Yeah, trapped in your own identity at that point.
Absolutely. And I saw that happening to me early on. They're like, you're really this happy. You really this happy. No, bitch. I'm not really this happy.
Yeah.
I work hard to be this happy. Sometimes the happiest people are that way because they've been the saddest. They've come out and they're appreciative of the light, But I'm like, I'm going to share my light and I'm going to share my darkness with y'all. So you understand that I worked hard for this. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. And I felt like that's really ultimately what I took from the way you've been moving in the last of 8 to 18 months was, let me just make sure when I come back I'm being thoughtful.
Hey, amen. Yeah. Yeah. Because mind you, I was writing stuff. I had a whole, you know what? this is my post, truth hurts, post because I love you, you, like, I'm gonna be crazy and wild. Like, I had this whole, like, this is my thought season. I had that whole thing planned out. And, like, then, of course, well, mind you, that was, like, August 2019 or 18 when I was on that vibe. And then life happened. Lots of life.
Yeah.
And I realized that I have never been the type of person to premeditate the message. Like, I have to go in real time and be like, whew, all right, now I know my purpose. Like, I have to wait for my purpose to come to me. I can't just drop music because it's trendy, because it's cool to stay relevant.
Because someone's telling you to, and it's on, yeah.
Period. And thank God I have a team, including Atlantic Records, who understands that more than I do. They're like, hey, don't rush. Don't rush greatness. Don't rush time, or don't rush music, and like, take your time and really just be the artist that we know you are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, thanks.
I'm going through the lyrics in my head, and I remember, let's get to the lyrics for a second for Rumors, because I was kind of really going through them. And within the first minute, you talk about what you should and shouldn't be posting, body awareness, letting go of friends in a lawsuit, the end of your relationship, and the fact that you nearly lost it last year. That's in verse 1.
Yeah. Woo! You know, you don't realize
The
it.
Purge. I mean, it's incredible because you dress it up and the song has that Ray Parker Jr. Ghostbusters goodness to it. And you
Yep.
think I'm dancing right now.
Yeah.
You just wrote an entire book in a verse.
I didn't even realize it. I didn't even freaking realize it when it was happening. Damn. But it's true. You know what? I realized maybe I'm
crazy.
like a TMI type of person, because when people ask me how I'm doing, I never just say I'm good if I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say I'm great. I'm feeling wonderful, or ooh, I just ate this sandwich. That's amazing. Or I'll tell you my back hurts. I got pee. I got to use the bathroom. Like, I'm not having a good day. I'm in a
Right.
bad mood. Like, I'll express that. You know, there's a few lines in this song that people might think is about them. Some people are right, some people are wrong. But yeah, no, definitely everything in that verse happened, and it's true.
Man, you don't want to break up with somebody during quarantine. That sucks.
Okay, so that's another one. That's another one. Here's the Apple exclusive.
What's the line? Come on, give us the line before we get the exclusive. What's the line of the song?
I said my ex, he blew it. Now, the T, I wrote that. I'm almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy sometimes, because I was in a relationship during the quarantine. And that person, I was with that person when I wrote it. It wasn't even about him.
Oh, wow.
It was about, like, it was a reference back to, like, truth hurts. And then
Oh, my God. That's the worst.
it's not funny. It's not funny.
But, I mean, what is
But
life
I'm just like,
without-
what is life?
What is life without being able to look back on these things? Do you feel... Okay, let's talk about the idea of prophecy for a second. Prophecy is a strong word. Manifestation. Art is a powerful energy field. Art is about the most pure way that you can communicate with someone aside from direct communication, and it can't be altered by others if you don't want it to be. And it can... And I have this theory. Check it out. People will sort of say, like, how come genres like pop music, and in particular hip-hop, R&B, achieve so much in a short period of time in terms of becoming the most successful genre and being such a big business and whatever? I was like, because the artists were manifesting it every time they touched the mic. They were saying before they even had it, I have it, I have it, I have it, I have it, you want it, I have it, you want it, I have it. They were manifesting greatness, and then the energy was attracted to them.
That's wild, because I have been very careful about, I know that words are spells, you know.
Yeah, right.
They're so powerful, and I'm singing it every single night. I try not to say anything that would bring darkness into my life. I bind and rebuke any negative energy in my songs.
Yeah.
And I'm very careful about always saying positive things, because you can manifest. That first verse of Rumors, I've been worried about it.
You have been.
Yeah. Because a lot of the things that I say did happen, but not before I wrote them. They were maybe on the way to happening.
Right.
And then after I wrote them, all those things really happened. Like, they were all references to things that happened to me in the last, like, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But then after I wrote it, literally, I wrote this song in February, like, the breakup, like, losing good friends in my life.
Yeah.
All of that really came to a head afterwards. And I was like, what the f***?
Well, there's another way of looking at it, which is that those things could have sat there and just stewed and just festered for a long period of time, and maybe just brought them to the surface and did away with them.
But you know what? I haven't manifested yet. Fucking Drake. So we. So.
Well, that's because I think there's a lot of people on the planet trying to manifest that. So it's harder to manifest something that there's a
Certified
queue.
lover boy.
There's a big queue for the CLB.
I'm not in that line. I just thought it would be so funny to say. I have a small relationship with him. He's very cool.
He's super lovely.
You know, and I just feel like women, there's so many times where girls' names get dropped in songs because they find.
I love that you did it, and also the fact that you continue. And again, this isn't a theme throughout the conversation, but you find ways to turn the tables and write and just even the playing field.
Yeah,
that I can. If you can, I can.
Yeah,
and it's important, I think, to recognize the relationship that you and Cardi have on this record and what you represent, which is like a really, it's like an entire bar full of shots of you juice.
Well, Cardi B is the ultimate, like, she to me has always done it right. Everything that she's said, every way that she's reacted, because you know why? It's because she was true to herself the whole time.
Right.
She never did it to look cool. She never did it to be accepted or to be liked.
She's a groundbreaker. She's like, you can't deny her ability.
She's a fucking superstar, and she has changed the game forever for a lot of us, you know, a lot of women. I don't even think she realizes she's doing it because she's just like, I'm trying to just be successful. I'm trying to get this money. I want to live a happy life. And she just follows her heart. That's what I love about her.
What made you think of Cardi for Rumors?
Because there was no one else for it. There was literally no one else. Like, from the day the ink dried on her Atlantic contract, I said, please get me on a song with Cardi B.
Yeah.
She's just funny.
Yeah.
I like funny people.
Yeah.
And she can rap. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously
be rapping.
I mean, just to tie the whole thing together with Drake, I went to the Drake concert where Migos, the tour that they did, I think it was I can't remember what it was called, the Bandits tour or Banditas tour or whatever. And I went to that tour, and on the night in LA, Migos brought out Cardi, and it had been hectic, and it had been a great crowd, and everyone was loved it. And when Cardi strutted out there in those high heels, man. Wow. It wasn't the sound of a normal crowd, you know. It was like war breaking out. It was this guttural noise that came out of 20,000 people. I was just like...
I'll tell you one thing. There's something about women in power that the world just explodes for. And I think women haven't really been given... Obviously, we've been marginalized to a certain degree where we haven't been able to really rise to that seat of power again. I'm going to say again because we used to. And now we're back. We're coming back into our place in power, and you can tell the difference. You know what I mean? I remember because I was in indie rap for a long time, but it wasn't a lot of female rappers. So I would get asked this question over and over. And they'd be like, what's it like in female rap? What's it like as a woman who raps? As if we were this, like, minority in this huge sea of, penis rappers.
A curiosity. Which is just so f***ed up.
Yeah. And I was like, it's cool. When they're like, well, what's the future of it? And I'm like, well... I really think that one day there's going to be so many girls that rap that you're not going to be able to keep up with them, and we're going to be able to fill a whole festival lineup ourselves. Just like how there's so many dudes rapping, they all got the same names, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They be sounding the same, a lot of them, and there's just so many you can't keep up. It's going to be the same with girls. It's going to be like, what's her name? I can't even keep up. There's just so many girls rapping. Yup, it's going to be just like that.
That's exactly what's happening.
I love it. It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about fucking time, man. Here we are, like, and people go fucking nuts.
I remember the first time I ever heard 10% diss by MC Light. Hot damn ho, here we go again. Hey. Suckers want to front, but they know they can't win. Hey. She just came out of nowhere and just fucking destroyed it. And that was the hardest record around at the time. Like, Latifah, same thing. Coming through and just always the hardest, always
Yeah.
the smartest.
Yeah. Even like Lil Kim. Like
Totally.
there's
Foxy
like,
Brown.
yeah, when Lil Kim will come out and start rapping and there'll be all these dudes on stage, people will just go,
Crazy.
yeah, yeah. There's something about us, man. And I there were women rapping and there always have been. It feels like the floodgates have opened, you know? I feel like where it was difficult to get through
Yeah.
and you had to be exceptional or you had to have the right cosign or you had to have help. Now it's just like, bitch, what's good? You know, a big butt and a smile, and I got 8 bars. What's good? Let's go. Like, I love it. I don't want it to stop. I want it to keep going. I want a whole festival where it's just girls rapping.
Do it.
And then not because they're girls, just because we're the best ones.
Do it, Lizzo Fest.
Oh, baby, you better
Did
manifest.
Did I?
Oh, did he?
Did I?
Manifest?
Are we not in the trust tree with the...
We're in the
Are we
trust
not?
tree. We're in the trust tree.
I just find you like just an amazing person. Like you could honestly turn your attention to anything, and I think you would inspire people through doing it. And I think we covered a lot of ground in this conversation, but that is at the core of that, which is that you've had to learn those lessons yourself. So when you speak on them, you do so with authenticity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I feel wiser. I feel like it's not, it is like burning your hand on the stove and being like,
Yeah.
let me tell you why the stove is hot.
Yeah.
Because when I put my finger on it, bitch, I got a blister versus like, don't touch that fire, you know, and you don't really know the depth of the pain. You can't really express the pain to somebody, you know.
Yeah.
I think that is what it is with me. But I'll tell you what, I got an older sister, so I never touched the fire. I let her do that in real life.
You guys get on good?
We're doing great.
Good.
Yeah, she's so good. She writing K-pop songs. She going brazy. I'm
Wow.
really proud of her.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you feel any sort of pressure? Had things changed when you knew that you'd taken some time to make sure that you had the music you were happy to release, you wanted us to hear, and Making Room is the first one? Was it a nerve-wracking decision, or did you just know in your heart, this is the one?
Man, everything comes to me innately. Like, everything comes to me purposefully. And so I just, when it was obvious, it was obvious.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what's wild, though? The pressure, the sophomore pressure or whatever it is.
What, on album number 4?
Baby, right? Is external.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone around me is like, well, I hate to say that there's pressure, but there's a lot of pressure here. I'm like, baby, you okay? Because I feel like you're feeling the pressure more than I am.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm so confident in the music that I make, you know? It's so honest and it's so fun and it's so good. It's just fucking good. Like, I'm good at music. I'm not, and this is no shade to artists that are like this, but I'm not that person who's just, you know, waiting for songs to show up in my email, hoping I get a good one. I'm in there, really in the trenches, being like, let me make sure this shit is good. Like,
you
I
seem
have
to
more
love it.
control over it.
There you go. That's the key word, right?
Yeah.
Because you've earned that. You've earned the right to have control and pick who you want to work with and do it how you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Success affords you that, and hard work affords you that. You announced pretty much on socials with our mutual friend Mark that you have been in the studio making a record and an album. And so without getting too far down the line, just as a parting sort of gesture for fans, how do you feel about music as a whole, the body of work that's to come?
Ooh, Mark Ronson is... That's one of those people that you think you're never ever gonna work with, and then you get with them, and you're like, "Oh, this is a one-time thing," and then you make something amazing, and you do it again, and you're like, "Am I really doing this?" And then he's also just like, he has the energy of like 16-year-old kid making beats in his like, or in a rock band.
Because you got it in one, making beats. I mean, that's what Mark is, the NPC, the kid who made beats on his MPC, and is still that fan.
Yeah, exactly. He is such a fan of music.
Yeah.
And you can tell, and it's just real in the room with him. Y'all gonna get sick of my mother confidence, but I'm not. I've made some of the listen, and by the way, I remember when I made Cause I Love You, the song.
You knew.
I called my mom, I was crying, I said, Mama, I think I wrote one of the greatest songs of all time. They're not going to know it yet, but one day they're going to know.
Oh, we knew. As soon as we heard it, everyone knew.
And I think I did it again. Oops, I did it. Wait, you can't clear that. But and Free Britney, I think I did it again. I wrote one of the greatest songs. And for me, It's to me. How about that? I wrote one of the greatest songs of all time to me.
Is it one of the ones you worked on with Mark? Or was
Yes.
It? Wow.
Me and Mark. We did something real crazy. I would sneak like pictures of him and for me later down the road. But then once we wrote that song, I said, oh, everybody gonna know we in the studio, baby, because this song about to change the world. So
And he's like,
I don't know, I mean, it's like, maybe we should just like hold tight. Maybe just like
you sound just like him.
I mean, this is crazy. Like, I'm loving the session, but I just think we've got some work to do on this track. Anyway, we'll work it out later. Okay.
Whoa, that's good. That's a good mark. But let me tell you why he a little different with me.
why?
He goes fucking ham. He'd be like, I hope you have your diaper on, cause you're gonna shit your pants. Yeah, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like, for some odd reason, I turn him all the way up.
I love it. We love you. We're so happy you're back. This song is like I said, you don't need my amateur review, but it addresses all the things in your life personally while also addressing us all universally. Super like ridiculous skill to do that shit. I can't wait to hear the greatest song ever made. And you're the best.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet. And we gotta do this again sometime.